Hi, it's Paulo again. I want to talk to you about my job. I'm an assistant language teacher, an ALT, and if you're coming to Japan, maybe you will become an ALT. There's a pretty high chance because at the moment, as of next year, all children in elementary schools have to learn English, so it's going to become compulsory. So yeah. If you know any more details about that, please tell me. Please put it in the comments below, because I'm quite interested. But as far as teaching English goes, you have the jobs where you work for a like an English school, and you may be asked to go to different locations and teach English to adults. And I think that is the best type of work because you're communicating with adults, right? So you don't have to deal with other complications that can be associated with looking after that can be associated with looking after kids. Right now I work in a junior high school, and once a week I go to elementary schools, but I've got a lot of experience in elementary schools. Anyway, as an assistant language teacher, you're not actually teaching English, really. Sometimes you may be, but the classes are generally really basic, really um, kind of boring. Anything that has to, if you get up to the higher levels, the Japanese teacher who is always with you must explain the grammar in Japanese, and sometimes you're left there just standing around for half an hour while the teacher's explaining stuff. But so yeah, if you are gonna become an ALT, you shouldn't really imagine that it's gonna be a job where you're gonna be a teacher, because I was a little bit disappointed coming into this job because I take teaching quite seriously. I have a passion for teaching and I enjoy it with all my heart. So I had to really adjust. I had to change my perspective and my kind of mentality. And as an ALT, your job is to be a representation of what a foreigner is. You have to be a ready resource for modeling pronunciation, and also, if the teacher asks you any questions, any difficult English questions, you have to be ready to answer. Although sometimes, especially in elementary schools, you will be asked to conduct the class itself, which is cool. That's the exception. But in junior high schools where I work, um, the English teachers, they have a serious job, and they're paid more than you. Their job is more involved, so of course they will be the main teacher. Yeah. So I don't know. The way I see my job is that I'm someone that is there supporting the Japanese teacher. I want I want the students to see that I'm kind of paying attention to help them pay attention. I just want to be friendly. I want them to, like me, so they look forward to English class every time it comes around. And you know what? Some kids, they hate English. Like, they just don't like it at all. And by the time it comes to the, exam time, they have to cram and they have to work so hard to try and, pass the English exam. But, that's their own thing. But in the meantime, as an ALT, um, yeah, one bit of advice is don't get too involved because uh, it's really not worth it at the end of the day. You just want to be a pleasant person, and yeah, because I tell you, there are a lot of problems. My boss was talking to me about um, my boss doesn't usually confide in me, but he was saying that um, it's a really complicated month this month, and that there are a lot of problems with the foreign teachers, and foreign teachers being Americans, British, Australians, Filipinos, whoever can speak English, and these people are just people off the street. really, at the end of the day, they're people off the street that are not very qualified or necessarily professional, and they're in a classroom situation, you know, surrounded by surrounded by kids or very young adults, and it's open to so many problems, um so yeah, I mean, there is a bit of a problem with male foreign teachers where they work in junior high schools, and the older girls, kind of they will try to play with you, or they'll try to flirt with you a little bit, and it can be quite misunderstood, and some people act on that. Some of the foreign teachers act on that, so that causes problems. So yeah, if you're a guy, um, yeah, do what you can to keep your distance. It's a very wise thing to do because it will come back and bite you. And besides, I mean, they're only a few years out of elementary school. You really shouldn't be messing around with that sort of stuff. Um, yeah, keep it in mind. Get someone that's out of school, definitely, because yeah, a lot of young girls, they wanna play around. They wanna experiment with kind of their powers, their powers of seduction, because they've developed these new bodies, and really they're like that, and sometimes they're like that, and um I've experienced it a little bit, but I I was warned, and it's not really I'm not a kind of high school fetishist or anything like that, high school girl fetishist or anything. So yeah, it's good to be careful like that. But just like anytime you're working with kids, you just have to know that balance um of where you stand. And when you're working with adolescents, it's really complicated. It's a very complicated middle ground. And as an ALT, you really can't discipline them. It's the job of the Japanese teacher to discipline them. So sometimes they're being really obnoxious. The kids are getting in your face. Maybe they'll be picking on you. That happens sometimes to the ALT. Like the kids will be picking on you, and um you know and you'll be tempted to lash out because you can't discipline them. And if you try to, they're not going to listen to you. So I don't know. Um, I've had some I've had some pretty funny experiences in the last year or so, but it's really interesting and I've learnt a lot. But my goal is to not be an ALT for too long. Yeah, I want to go back to teaching adults full time as soon as possible. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, come to Japan, work in the schools. You're gonna learn so much. That's where the real culture is, because that's where you see the truth. That's where you see minds developing, and that's where you see culture developing. So there you go. All right, see ya.